Hi, this is Diego Castro with the School of Magic of Love, and this is the summary for our latest class of the School of Magic of Love. As I told you before in our last video, we are beginning a new workshop that is called The Math of Love with our first theme that is called The Conscious Observation. So let me begin by reading you a quote by Gerardo Schmeling. When you stop acting in automatic, you become conscious. When you become conscious, you can act over yourself. And when you can act over yourself, you can change your life. So this is a very beautiful quote because I think that this quote calls for action, calls for us to become more and more conscious of ourselves. So you can start by saying that the main purpose of self-observation is for us to become more conscious of ourselves so that we can learn to have the control of our lives and the control of what happens inside us. What we want is to stop being in automatic all the time, because when we are constantly in automatic, everything and everyone external to us is going to have the control of our lives. We can also say that the deep purpose of self-observation is that we can find ourselves so that we can know who we are and that we can learn to be ourselves and not what happens around us, and that is what happens all the time. So the exercise of self-observation has a purpose that we can achieve something that is called the point of spiritual independence and a total freedom, so that we can stop being dependent on or on anything or anyone, and that we can be absolutely conscious of our own decisions, of our actions, and that we can know that all of our decisions and actions are ours and only ours, and they are not dependent on what happens around us. That is what we want. So when we start being ourselves, we become absolutely free, and we are spiritually independent, and we know that there is absolutely no possibility or chance for someone or anything to take away from us our inner peace, our happiness, or our energy. When we learn to observe ourselves, all of our decisions are going to be only ours, and they are going to be totally conscious and taken only from a point of love. This is the most beautiful thing. And they are going to carry only the process of love or neutralization. Why is this? Because love is not a force. Love neutralizes all force. And we know that if we want to express any kind of emotions, feelings, or enthusiasm, we will always express them in a positive way. Remember that love is not a force. Love neutralizes any kind of force, and love offers no resistance, nor does love resist anything. Love is something that takes us to a state of totally inner peace, where there is no possibility of suffering. Sometimes we hear on the radio or culture told us that love is suffering or love is treacherous, and that has nothing to do with the real meaning of love. There is no possibility to suffer because of love. Of course, we can learn to direct our emotions, decisions, and feelings from love if we learn to do that. So when we learn to observe ourselves, we are constantly being more and more conscious. And of course, if we want to express emotions, feelings, or enthusiasm, we will always express them in a positive way. Why is this? Because as we are becoming more conscious of ourselves, we are not going to allow for anything negative to be expressed. So that is the deep purpose of self-observation. This is also a quote by Gerardo Schmeling, and I read, and I quote, "When I can find and I can know who I am, the first part of the magic starts, and it is that I begin to discover that I am not who I thought I was, but something much more beautiful." What is that? We are the essence of divine love that our Father has put inside of ourselves. That is what we truly are. That is what we call the state of total freedom and the state of spiritual independence. This means that we have gained total control of ourselves, and we stop allowing for our feelings, emotions, behaviors, and thoughts to be influenced by what happens around us, because we are not something that is constantly changing according to what happens around us. To the extent we are not. We are something that never changes. The essence of love, and love never changes. When we find ourselves who we truly are, we find ourselves with love, and love never changes. So, before I finish this short summary, let me explain you, or let me name, the three levels of conscious behavior observations that we need to learn to observe. And those are our inner world, the external world, and the observation of our behaviors. So, in the observation of our behaviors, we need to learn to observe our emotions, our feelings, our sensations, and of course, our thoughts. In the observation of the external world, we need to learn to observe our relations, our circumstances and experiences, our difficulties, of course, and our satisfactions. And finally, in the observation of our behaviors, we need to observe our indecisions, our decisions, of course, our reactions, and our actions. We need to become more and more conscious. So, this was just a short summary, a 6-minute summary of a 2-hour length class. So if you want to join us in our classes of the School of Magic of Love that we give every Wednesday, you can find my numbers down below. You can follow me on Instagram, the School of Magic of Love, or in Diego Castro. I'm going to leave it right here. The School of Magic of Love is something that can change your life. Of course, if you give yourself an opportunity to see inside of yourself and to change your mind, that is what you need to do. So I hope you all have a nice weekend. See you the next Thursday or Friday with our next summary, and I hope you have a very nice weekend. Bye bye.